Mia Patel had counted every crack in the sidewalk on her walk to school that morning. She did it partly to calm her fluttering stomach and partly so she wouldn't have to look up and see the looming brick building that would, for better or worse, become her new high school. She clutched the strap of her worn canvas backpack so tightly that her knuckles were white. Today wasn't just her first day in a new school. It was her first day anywhere since her family had moved across the country after her dad's job transfer. She had always been the quiet one. The girl with hair that fell over her face like a curtain. The girl who slipped into the back of the classroom and never raised her hand. She had learned long ago that attention only brought trouble. She could already feel eyes on her as she stepped through the glass front doors and tried to look invisible. The hallways smelled of cheap cleaning spray and teenage anxiety. Lockers banged open and shut. People shouted across the corridor, their voices echoing off linoleum floors. She inched along the wall, trying to find the main office before the bell rang. Her schedule was clutched in her trembling fingers. The ink smudged from how many times she had unfolded it, refolded it, trying to memorize every classroom number. She almost made it without incident. Almost. Hey, a sharp voice called, behind her, stopping her mid-step. She pretended not to hear. A hand closed on her shoulder. She flinched. New girl. A tall boy with a square jaw and shaggy blonde hair stepped in front of her. His Letterman jacket smelled of cologne and stale chewing gum. A smaller boy with acne and a cruel smile came up beside him, and behind them, a girl with a high ponytail watched, smirking. "Leave me alone," Mia mumbled, eyes fixed on the floor. "What was that?" the tall boy demanded, cupping a hand to his ear in mock confusion. "Speak up, Mia swallowed, her voice tiny. I just want to find the office." She just wants to find the office, the smaller boy repeated in a sing-song voice. "Ah, you want help." He reached out, and before she could step back, he snatched the schedule from her hand and held it high over her head. Mia made a futile grab for it, but they danced back, passing it between them like a cruel game of keep-away. She felt her face burn with humiliation. Students walking past slowed to watch, their curiosity drawn like vultures to fresh roadkill. Her pulse hammered in her ears. She knew this script. Ignore them, they get bored. But these kids didn't look bored. They looked hungry. "Give it back," she whispered, voice shaking. "Or what?" the tall boy taunted. "You gonna cry? You gonna run to the principal?" The girl with the ponytail stepped closer, her manicured fingers grazing Mia's sleeve. "That's a cute dress," she said, a wicked glint in her eyes. "Did your mommy buy it for you?" Mia instinctively covered the skirt with her hands. "Don't." The girl's grin widened. In one swift motion, she seized a fistful of fabric and yanked. The cheap cotton tore with an awful rip that seemed louder than all the hallway noise. Gasps and laughter burst around them like fireworks. Mia staggered back, clutching the torn edges of her dress to her chest. Her vision blurred with hot tears. She thought she'd feel only shame, the same gnawing fear she always felt when someone targeted her. But something else rose in her chest. Instead of fierce heat she hadn't known she was capable of. Because this was not the first time she had been humiliated. She remembered every time a cruel hand had shoved her, every mocking whisper, every time she'd let it happen. She thought of her mother's tired eyes when Mia came home crying in middle school. How she'd sworn to her mom that she'd never let anyone make her feel worthless again. A hush fell as she straightened. "Pick it up," she said, her voice suddenly clear as glass. "What?" The tall boy blinked, confused. "My schedule," Mia said, her tone colder than she felt inside. "Pick it up now." The smaller boy barked a laugh. "Or what, new girl? You're gonna..." He never finished. Mia dropped her shredded dress, hemmed just long enough to step forward. She shifted her weight onto her back foot, exactly as Sensei had taught her in the karate dojo she'd trained in for the past 4 years. She drew a breath, felt her focus narrow to a single point. Her palm shot out in a precise arc, a perfect shutauchi strike. The edge of her hand connected with the smaller boy's collarbone. He let out a choked grunt and crumpled to the floor, clutching his shoulder. A collective gasp rippled through the watching crowd. "What the hell?" the tall boy roared, lunging at her. Mia pivoted sideways, her heart pounding but her mind strangely calm. Another chop, this time to the side. "What is next?" He staggered, eyes rolling back, and collapsed like a felled tree. Only the girl remained, eyes huge, mouth open. She stumbled back, hands raised. "You're crazy." "Pick it up," Mia repeated. The girl snatched the schedule off the floor and held it out with trembling fingers. Mia took it without breaking eye contact. Silence fell. The bell shrilled overhead, but nobody moved. Mia straightened her shoulders, regripping her torn dress. The hallway parted for her as she walked, her gaze steady. In the main office, the secretary looked up in mild alarm. "Oh, honey, what happened?" Mia exhaled, her hands still shaking from the adrenaline. "I need a safety pin," she said, quietly, "and maybe a new schedule." The woman handed her a box of pins and reached for the phone. "I'll call the counselor. You should sit down." But Mia didn't sit. As she fixed her dress, She realized something had changed. She wasn't invisible anymore, and maybe that wasn't a bad thing. By lunchtime, the story had spread like wildfire. People stared when she walked past. A few whispered behind their hands, but no one tried to touch her. She found an empty table in the corner of the cafeteria and picked at the edges of her sandwich. She had never been the kind of girl who wanted attention, but it was better than being the girl who got torn apart in silence. Is this seat taken? She looked up sharply. A boy with unruly brown hair and two big glasses was standing there, tray in hand. He looked like he'd rather be anywhere else but was trying anyway. No, Mia said. Surprised. He sat down gingerly, like he had her to karate chop him too. I'm David, he mumbled. She waited, expecting him to ask about the fight, but he didn't. He just opened his thermos and started eating his soup, cheeks pink. Thanks, she said after a moment. He glanced up. For what? For sitting here. He shrugged. You looked like you could use a friend. They ate in companionable quiet. When the bell rang, David gave her a shy smile and said, "See you tomorrow." She nodded. The days that followed were a blur of hushed gossip and wide berth. Mia hated the way everyone watched her but pretended not to. Yet no one tried to bother her again. Even the tall boy and his friend kept their distance after their parents were called in and they got a week suspension. The girl with the ponytail wouldn't meet Mia's eyes. More surprising than the fear was the respect. A girl from Mia's history class passed her a note. You were so brave. Wish I could stand up for myself like that. Mia read it 3 times. Brave. The word didn't feel like it belonged to her, but every day she walked in without flinching, it felt a little truer. One afternoon, David walked with her to the bus. He kept his hands in his pockets, shoulders hunched. You really scared them, he said quietly. I scared myself, Mia admitted. He looked at her. Would you teach me maybe? Some of that karate stuff. She blinked. You want me to teach you? His ears turned red. People pick on me sometimes too. Mia felt something uncoil in her chest. A memory of Sensei's voice came back to her. Strength isn't about hurting people, it's about protecting yourself and others. Sure, she said, surprising herself. I can teach you. He smiled, and she realized she'd never seen him smile like that, like someone who believed he had a chance. The next week, they met in the park after school. Mia showed him basic stances and blocks, the same ones she had practiced 1,000 times. David was awkward, his limbs tangling, but he tried, and each time he stumbled and tried again. Mia felt a warmth bloom in her heart. Soon other kids began to drift over, watching from a distance. A girl she recognized from English class asked shyly if she could join. Mia nodded. By the end of the month, they had a little group, 3 girls, 2 boys, practicing together in the grass. Mia had never thought of herself as a leader, but when she looked around, she saw something she'd never known she needed. Belonging. At home, her mother watched her come in with grass stains on her knees and a light in her eyes. You seem happy, she said carefully. Mia thought about it, about the hallway, the ripping sound of her dress, the moment she chose to fight back, and about the new friends who were learning to stand up for themselves too. I am, she said simply. She still got nervous sometimes. She still preferred the quiet corners of the library, but she no longer felt like a victim waiting for the next humiliation. On the last day before winter break, she stayed after class to help the teacher stack books. As she was leaving, she heard footsteps behind her. It was the girl with the ponytail. She looked uncertain, her eyes darting everywhere, but Mia's face. She cleared her throat. I just wanted to say, sorry. Mia felt the old anger flare, then fade. She didn't know if she could forgive, but she knew she didn't want to carry the weight of it forever. Okay, Mia said at last. Thank you.